right, so it's live streaming. It is October 3rd, 2023 at 7:07 p.m. This is the hybrid part of the Sanitation Environmental Protection Committee, Community Board 11. We are trying to touch base with the chair, find out what's going on at the office. In the meantime, we do have a representative from DEP here and one member of the committee online, Harry Santaella, and we have other board members and members of the public in attendance. Harry, anything else you'd like to say before you turn it over to DEP?
I just want to say there's non-board members there, but they're more than welcome to jump in whenever they want to jump in. That's thankful. Hello?
Effie, you can go ahead and start.
Yes.
Are you sure? Okay. So good evening. You probably know me. I'm Effie from DEP, the Bronx Community Affairs Liaison. So I was just on tonight just to let everybody know about a new incentive that the agency has. It's time sensitive, so I just wanted to make sure I get on your meeting and let you know about it. It's a $100 incentive credit that's to encourage customers to enroll in auto pay. So we are offering it. It's a limited time opportunity and it's until November 15th. If customers are interested, they should sign up immediately, or they can also call DEP directly. If you're having any issues, you can call 718-595-7000. And it's basically you will receive e-bills, and it's to eliminate physical paper bills and become more environmentally friendly. That was it on my message. I had sent the press release. Jeremy, if you didn't get it, let me know, but I sent it about a month ago. So this program ends November 15th, just an FYI. And that was it on my end. We had budget consultations. Were you on that, Jeremy? Okay. We just had budget consultations with all the community boards, OMB, the borough president's office. We did that yesterday. I shared the capital improvement maps of all the projects for all the community boards in the Bronx, including Community Board 11. So you should have that. Friday we had intense rain. I did not get any specific complaints from your board. I think our borough fared better than other boroughs. I know Brooklyn got hit really bad. This was intense rain, and it came down about 3 inches or so an hour, and our sewers can handle about 1.5 inches or so. The system does get overtaxed. It's important to call your complaints to 311, whether it's a sewer backup or street flooding or anything like that, so our crews get to know what our problematic locations are. And that's it on my end. If anybody has any questions, would like to, discuss further, please let me know.
Thank you.
So, so just as an FYI, I'm actually heading towards the office. There are a few people waiting outside to get in. So thank you, Effie. I don't know if anyone online has any questions.
I can stay on for a few more minutes if you want me to.
1
I
second.
can
Question
stay
from the
on for a
public or
bit.
from board members?
At this point, anyone?
Hi, Effie. Hi, Effie. It's Roxanne Delgado.
Hi.
I would love to have known you were on. They did not include you on the agenda with the nights that they did, but nonetheless, I have 2 issues since you're here.
It was a last-minute decision. I just want to make sure I mention this program because it's time sensitive. So
Okay.
yeah, that's fine.
Sorry, I'm in the Starbucks. I just got off my train, so this is my life. But I just wanted to ask you 2 issues to bring up to you. regarding the Pelham Parkway reconstruction phase 2 project that's near completion this year in November. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
we hear you. We hear you,
I'm
Roxanne.
saying in regards to Pelham Parkway reconstruction, thank you, project that's will be completed this year in November.
Yeah.
I had issues from residents that this does not fall under the scope of the contract or the project because of more rain and higher density in this area. On
Mhm.
the lower level and basement level on Pelham Parkway North between Kruger Avenue and Wallace Avenue, we having when it rains, because now that the catch basins have been repaired or improved, now it's catching the rain. But unfortunately, because I guess there's central sewer, and mind you if I'm incorrect, it cannot handle the capacity of all that rain, so it's backflowing into people's toilets whenever it rains. So per my discussion with, they said that this is a DEP issue, that they need to look into the central sewer system and see if they could upgrade its capacity, because it's going to continue to happen whenever it rains. So I was hoping you could bring that under your focus, or what you can do for us here.
Do me a favor, Roxanne, send me those addresses, because addresses are important when people are complaining about sewer backups. It's not going to be an intersection, it's going to be a specific address. You can send that to me, but like I mentioned earlier, our sewers are meant to handle about 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches, not the intense rain that we get when it's 3 inches and so forth. But like I said, every situation, it depends. If it was during the heavy rains, I'm assuming the sewer system may have overtaxed, but I don't like assuming anything. So
Yeah.
please send me the address, and please always encourage everyone to call 311 and place those complaints. It's important for us to track them.
Yes, understood. I was trying to first figure out where the issues stand, but after certain discussion with certain people, it came to my attention it was a DP issue, but I'll definitely send you an email. And regarding 301, I actually did 301 last week with the heavy rains. There's a clogged catch basin on White Plains Road in Bronxdale, and I did do a 301, and for some reason it was not addressed. But it's a clogged catch basin. It's not, yeah, there's trash on the grate, but it's not just the trash above the grate, because that could be cleaned out.
Correct.
It's inside.
White Plains Road and what?
Bronxdale, White Plains Road. Let me give you. Do you want me to give you 301 number? Because I have it if you want.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's 311, of course, and dash 16001028.
Yep. Okay. I got it. I'll follow up.
Because it's not your fault, but when it rains and because it's clogged, that weekend the whole side of that street was flooded, and it was made it much more difficult to cross from the west to east side on Bronxdale and White Plains Road.
We do encourage, I know you mentioned the basin is dirty internally also, and it needs to be cleaned. So we are responsible for that. We also kindly encourage property owners that have basins in front of their businesses or their homes to kindly sweep the debris off the top, so that will allow the water to flow in. Now, certain areas where you have the street sweeping, that definitely helps. And I know we are proactive. We know our flood-prone locations, including the parkways, especially during the fall when all the leaves are coming down and they literally just mat over the basins. It doesn't mean that the basins are not functioning or anything like that. It's just a matter of removing the top so the water can drain into them. So, but this particular complaint, I'll follow up on it.
Thank you. And thank you for mentioning the leaves. I do have 2 cleanups next week. And if there's any leaves on the catch basin, we'll definitely address it, okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Effie, for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Great. Bye now. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Hi, Effie.
Hi, yes.
I didn't know you were going to be on either.
It's okay.
Being that you're speaking of catch basins,
Yes.
I had reported there's 2 corners, so there's 4 catch basins, and I asked for all 4 to be cleaned out, and when they came, they only came and cleaned out one of them. And during this past storm, the one that was cleaned out was the only one that seemed to handle the rain flow sufficiently.
Okay.
The others, you know, so
I'm not sure why, but I'll look into it. What's the location then?
it's actually not in CB 11, it's in CB 10. The corner is Waterbury and Bruckner.
Okay, no problem. I'll look into it.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem, Deb. I'll get back to you, Deb.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course, yeah.
Hi, Effie. This is Wendy Hewlett,
Hi,
board
Wendy.
member. How are
Yes.
you?
Good, thank you.
So the question I have is like for the question of in the tomorrow, right? So given that the system is so old, and there's massive development going on, right? And it's beyond Community Board 11 in all communities. Is there a plan? Does DEP have a plan on how to upgrade the system to withhold the amount of water that due to global warming? Because that it's something that is happening at a rapid speed.
Yes, climate change is an issue. We did have Plan NYC that we are still working on. You know, I can get back to you on the details on that. We have implemented also a lot of green infrastructure throughout the entire city. We have porous pavement that we've installed. And I think, Jeremy, I sent you a letter or an email stating that we're going to be adding some, I believe, to your district as well. I brought it up at budget consultations yesterday, but I think you're one of the boards that will be getting that porous pavement so it can absorb stormwater runoff. The rain gardens that we've put in certain parts of the district that can accommodate them. But there are bigger plans. There's also state and federal funding that needs to be implemented. And I don't have the particulars on that. But you know, our commissioner plays a dual role. He is the commissioner of DEP, and he is also the chief climate officer under the mayor's office of resiliency. You may want to have somebody from that office maybe come and speak on more details, or maybe I can get you some more details on that. But there is a whole Plan NYC. And yesterday, we also shared some information with the community boards on that. And maybe, Jeremy, you can send that to your board members as well.
I appreciate that because for homeowners, I mean, what was it, a year and a half ago, we got hit extremely hard. And I had extensive damage down in my basement. So with this rain that happened, we received, you know, not that much because I had to add a drain system, another drain system in my backyard. So just, you know, for homeowners, it's costly. So if the city is going to do something to kind of cushion that out, we homeowners would appreciate that.
Absolutely. We have been distributing flood barriers to your electeds. Reach out to your council member's office. You feel free to reach out to me if you need to, but we did distribute them to your council members. And if they need more, they can contact me so we can provide them with those. These are flood barriers. We started that this past spring for this year, and they've been really successful. So make sure you contact, I think your council member is Marjorie Velasquez. If so, please reach out to her office and see if she has any remaining that she can provide you with, because those are really helpful. We've also been giving out for several years rain barrels. And rain barrels are for a limited time. They're not for the winter months. They're for spring into now. Now you would start disconnecting them. But the purpose of the rain barrels is to retain that stormwater runoff again that comes from your roof drains, right? It empties right into it and you can use it to water your garden, wash your car, water conservation. And, you know, and obviously the agency is always promoting more green instead of gray. So if you can have grass, which will absorb it better, instead of, cementing your area of your property, right? We also have green infrastructure grant programs for private property owners. So I usually share that information with the community board when it becomes available, as well as workshops to help you apply through that. So I share this information with the board. So I'm sure Jeremy will share it with all of you when he has that as well. But these are some of the things that we've been doing as well to help property owners. And we did have that brochure, which I presented. I'm not sure if it was this year or last year. It's a homeowner's guide to how you can better flood-proof your property. I don't know if you were on when I did that presentation, Wendy.
No.
But I think it was either earlier this year. For some reason, I'm thinking it was earlier this year or last year. And it's some of the things that we just discussed, the rain barrels, right? The flood barriers is a new thing that we have. Another thing to make sure you don't get sewer backups is not dumping grease down the drain. Because that creates problems for your sewer lines. It also creates issues for our sewers as well. That brochure is really helpful. What I'll do is I'll send the link to the board so that he could send it around to all the board members and you can peruse through it. And if you have any questions, let me know. But it gives you tips as a homeowner what you can do. You already have a drain, right? You're responsible for the drains on your property. Some people have zipper drains right by the driveway. Other people just have a French drain, right? But these things all help you as a property owner, but make sure you maintain it because some people never touch it. And then they wonder why it's flooding, and then they think we're responsible. No, if it's on your property, it's your responsibility.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Effie.
Yeah.
Also not flushing flushable wipes, because
Yes.
flushable wipes are not flushable.
Thank you.
I think I remember seeing something like fight the blog or something or like that, between the grease and the flushable wipes. It just clogs up everything.
Those are the main sewer backup offenders. So yes, not dumping baby wipes down the toilet is, even though some of them say they're flushable, they're really not. They clog up our own machinery at our wastewater treatment plants as well.
You mentioned the rain gardens. Who exactly is responsible for cleaning and maintaining those? Is it sanitation or is it DP? Because a lot of people use it as a dumping ground, or like in the instance of the heavy rain, it gets caught up in there as it's being washed down the street. Who's responsible for maintaining that?
We are. DEP is responsible for its rain gardens. Now, Debbie, you may see, I've seen rain gardens. Some of them are not DEPs, okay? Every rain garden has an inlet, right? It's like a little curb cut so the water can enter it, right? They're usually deep because they're meant to retain the rainwater, right? And then it has an outlet, which is another little curb cut at the end of it, where the water, once it fills up to a certain point, the water comes out and it empties in an adjacent catch basin. So those are the DEP rain gardens, and you will see, I believe they put decals on them saying this is a rain garden, call 311 if it needs to be cleaned or something like that. But DEP has dedicated crews citywide to maintain them. If one of them needs to be cleaned, please call 311 and report it. It's not for the owner to clean it or anybody else. We're responsible for that. And please make me aware of it as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who's down there in the office?
Thank you
We're
so
here.
much, Effie. Just for a clarification, I'm not sure how did you get on our radar for today? Who reached out to you? Because I think there's just a little bit of confusion. We're very happy to have you. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, no problem. Nobody reached out to me. I had sent out this press release that we had about the program, and it's ending soon. So I just wanted to make sure I get on as many boards as I can get on if they're available. So I called the office and I said if it's okay if I can come for a minute or two just to discuss the program. That was it. And obviously other people have questions and comments like that, but I
Great.
like to reach out to the boards and just follow up and see what's going on.
Oh, it's definitely appreciated. Thank you.
Good evening, FV. How are you?
Good,
I'm
good.
grateful for you here with us.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, well, welcome. We're glad to have you. We just start listening. We missed half of what you were saying, but I think we will join you now since you're already in progress.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm not sure if you had any questions. You know, I mentioned the $100 incentive credit that DEP has for property owners to enroll in auto pay. Basically, it's online payment, so it's paperless and environmentally friendly, but you do get that $100 incentive, and it ends November 15th. So I just wanted to make sure, you know, I got to your board. I always send out the press releases, but if I can get on the board and just mention it as well, I like to do that also. And hear if there's any complaints or questions that anybody has. So we did talk, we had budget consultations yesterday with the Bronx Community Boards, my agency did. We shared maps of the capital improvement projects for your boards. We discussed the intense rain that we had on Friday. That was a lot of rain, but as I mentioned, I think Brooklyn got the brunt of it, not the Bronx, knock on wood. And it's important to call 311 with any of your complaints. And then we started talking about catch basins, and here we are now. So I'm not sure if anybody has, you know, any questions or anything they want me to clarify, anything like that.
Well, Effie, we missed half of it. We came into the middle of it. So I think, we have 4 members here who, I don't know if they're as lost as myself, but I would like to know what was the base of the conversation? What did we miss? I heard $100, and right away I heard $100. So I'm excited to know what am I getting the $100 for? So
Yes, so that's the auto pay program that you would pay your water bill online. So if you don't have that yet, you can go online. If you don't have an account, you can go on our website, create your own account. www.nyc.gov/DEP is our website. And you can always call DEP directly, 718-595-7000. So that's.
Do you mind adding that to the chat, Effie, please?
Oh, sure, I will.
Thank you.
Yeah. So as soon as I'm done talking, I'll add it in. So that's basically that. We did have our amnesty program, which I came on several months ago, and we talked about that. That ended. But then we moved on to the intense rain that we had on Friday. And the rain was coming down like 3 inches or so an hour, and our sewers can only handle about 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches. So the system does get overtaxed when you have such intense rainfall. It's very important for everybody to call 311 and report if they have any street flooding or any clogged catch basins. if you're a property owner and you have a catch basin in front of your property, you know, we kindly ask that you sweep the debris off the top so the water can drain in. We know our flood prone areas, so we are proactive. The Department of Sanitation will come out and do street sweeping. Usually the parkways during the fall, when the leaves come down, they also mat over the basins and don't allow the water to flow in, and that creates flooding as well. Always call 311 because that's how we know our problematic locations, and it's a tracking system. We also discussed how we've been giving out flood barriers. You know about the rain barrel program because we've been doing that for God knows how long. We've been giving out rain barrels, but this year we started something new, and these are called flood barriers. And we've provided all the council members that requested them, I've provided them with flood barriers. So I believe your council member is Velasquez, Marjorie Velasquez. Feel free to reach out to her office and see if she has any available that you can use. Those are really good to put by your driveways, by basement doors or basement windows where you get water coming in. Okay. They're inflatable. They come with instructions. You inflate them, and those are definitely very helpful. So those are in addition to the rain barrels, which collect the storm water runoff, right? That you can wash your car, use in your garden, and capture that as well. I'm going to be sending out the homeowners brochure, which I've talked about it many times before. But I'll send out the link for it so everybody can have it. And I think that's everything we talked about. And then we had Roxanne mentioned some catch basin complaints and things like that, which I'll follow up on. And Debbie did too. And that's it, I think.
Okay, thank you so much, Effie.
Thank you.
Okay, does anyone here have any question? Okay. I mean, I know Junior, you don't have any question?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we just had Robert Press join us.
Effie, how are you? How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
With the sewage, I mean, the overflow. Did we have the overflow into the Hudson River? And did the regular plant be able to handle the rain that we had, or what happened?
I didn't hear of any issues with our plants, our wastewater treatment plant for Hunts Point, for the Bronx. We have one in Hunts Point. I didn't hear of any issues there, but I didn't hear of anything. Like I mentioned, you know, these are intense rainstorms. They seem to be happening more frequently. They're not that once every 100-year storms. You know, climate change is real. The sewer systems do get overtaxed when you have these, you know, intense rainstorms. But I'm not aware of any other issues. Like I mentioned before you came in, you know, I think the Bronx was not hit as bad as Brooklyn was with this last storm. But it's important for everybody to report whatever issues they're having, and our field ops crews will be out there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Effie.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we have, we see Harry there. I guess there was no one who have any question. I guess we're down to the gallery session. We didn't have time for anything else because of the way the meeting started. And Robert Press asked his question. And no one else here have any question as to, you know, so we're gonna just go on to, I know Bernadette was supposed to.
She's at the Metro North here.
Bernadette was supposed to be here to speak, but I know she said she would come and leave early, but I guess she didn't make it. So we are going to just introduce ourselves so everyone can know who everyone is, our new members, and I think the whole world know Robert Press. So we thank you for being here with us. So I'm going to start with myself, Avril Francis, the chair.
Katie and Ellen, a new board member.
Okay.
Luciano, new board members.
June Campbell, board member.
Cynthia Rodriguez, board member, not committee member, board member though.
Yeah.
I know, I was helping out with
Visit.
that.
Yeah, just helping us out with the
Yeah.
camera and everything to make us look good. Okay, so if it's anything, I would say that we go into, thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate having you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do we have anyone
You have
that's
Wendy.
on the, her name is not showing up, but if there's anyone online who is new, can you introduce yourself to us, please?
Hi, my name is Wendy Hewlett Betts, new board member.
Okay, Wendy, I didn't get her last name, but to spell it the right way, but we will
It's
get
in
that.
there.
It's in there, so, okay. All right, is there anyone else? And we see we have Harry there. Someone with a phone, which we can't figure that out when you're just on the phone. But to everyone, welcome. We thank you. Thank you so much, Wendy, for joining and making us having a quorum and feel like we're getting bigger. And tonight we probably can go into the old business. And I know one of the things Bernadette concerned was the Van Ness alternate site parking. She wanted to discuss, but she's not here, but that's all minutes. She wanted to go from 4 days to 2 days. I could imagine have to move my car 4 days a week, but that's something that she wanted to talk about. I don't think Ife is talking about that. So among us, I don't know how we address this because it's something that she wanted to bring up and I'm surprised she's not here. So we're also talking about merging with transportation and
I'm sorry?
merging with transportation,
Sanitation.
sanitation and transportation
Together.
coming together. So we spoke about merging. So if anyone has an input, can
What is the common?
there was one time that the board here was just 2 and 3 or,
Yes.
to the one. It have grown. Both of you have joined. We have Wendy. So we was speaking about it if it's necessary to join
Two boards together.
together.
Just so that you can have a functioning body.
Yes.
Good idea.
Yes. Well, Junior already said, and Roger says yes.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Thank you so much, Harry. Okay, so that's something that I don't know if we have to vote on it, how we go about it, but now that we get everyone input, then we can take it to Jeremy and work towards having it done. I know, Robert, you're first you are a guest, but
No. What you have to do is you have to have it's a bylaw amendment.
yes, so we speak to
Merging the
Jeremy.
committees, I think it should be merged with the Parks Committee. Since the sewers, or I should say, the new water main is right in the Helen Parkway North area, covering some of the parkland. And you have, it's more with parks than with transportation, although if you want to reduce the alternate side parking, it has to be a joint sanitation and environment and transportation committee, like we did on Board 8, and I'm sure Wendy might be able to tell you if they did it on her board where she was on.
Yeah, I was saying parks and transportation. I know if he just gave us some good information, but I mean, I don't know how big the other board is. So I don't know about parks, how the committee is, how many people is on parks.
Committee, yeah.
But for us, sanitation and transportation, everyone agreed to it. But we have to hear also from those on transportation.
If they want to.
You know, so that's something I would have Jeremy send out and go about it the right way.
So I have a question. So is the merging based on the volume of people that's on the committee, or is it based on similar interests, similar topics that can
No,
go together?
Volume and both. Because I think we can move better if we have I see Malcolm just joined and he also, I don't know if he's on transportation. Malcolm, are you part of transportation?
I am not, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, but I know that we did make that motion at the full board. So it should come up to discussion either at the bylaws committee or leadership or executive, whichever one that they get picked up at. Usually it's bylaws for a bylaws change.
Okay. All right, so that is noted. All right. Okay, so that is we have to reach out to Hazel and Rabbi.
I think Hazel mentioned at the full board meeting that she
Yeah.
wants to have a conversation with Rabbi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have to follow up on that. But so far, everybody here is in agreement with it.
Yeah, but just to interject a little bit here, I think it would be a good idea for this committee, just just while in limbo, of the merging of the committees, to come up with like a plan of action as to what you guys would like to meet about within the next 2-3 months. We do have the City of Yes agenda. I'll be happy to sit down, work with you guys, to figure out like how this committee can tackle that agenda to help inform the community and in the board. I think it would be a great idea to to brainstorm and to just plan as to what are some of the things that you want to tackle or plan, or what are some of the issues that from the community that you would like to spearhead, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's us working together because my concern may not be someone else's concern, and everyone has something that they want to discuss or deal with, and we just have to come up with that in advance, not the same night or the same day or the same week.
Right.
So
I know you guys have Effie, which is I believe is the Department of Environmental Protection on this call. Maybe communicate with them and to see what are some of the things that they're getting from the community, as in that can be addressed, or having them do some type of workshop with you guys.
but we long to see Effie in the office. I mean, I see her all the time, but here at the meetings, Effie, are you with us? I know she's very busy.
Yeah, I'm still on. I'm
Okay.
still on.
But I know your topic tonight, with that rain and water and everything that's going on and leaking and everything, I think you're needed out there to spread this information. We do appreciate it, but we would like to have better planning, and if we could hear from everyone on the committees what they would like to discuss or what the community need to hear, we can do this in advance. So I guess we have to work about towards merging the committees, and so we can move forward.
Yeah, you guys let me know whenever you need me present. Of
Thank you so much.
course.
Okay, is there anyone else have anything to say? I'm gonna open the floor.
No, nothing.
If I could ask Effie a question, one final question.
Go ahead.
Go right ahead.
Effie,
Robert.
the Croton water, is that online, the Croton filtration plant?
What was your question, Bob? I'm sorry.
Is the Croton water filtration plant online?
Yes.
And,
As far as I know, I'm not aware of any other issues. I mean,
okay, and where is that water going? Because I was told, we were told that it would be below Morris Park Avenue, East 180th Street. Which community boards are getting that Croton water?
you're talking about drinking water?
Yes, from the from the Croton Water Filtration Plant.
You can, Bob, I think you know that you can go on our website and view in real time the water that is being distributed citywide. So you can actually access that information every day because I know the percentage sometimes changes or if the water's coming from Croton versus another reservoir. But you can access that information on the website.
Because the Cat Dell is under construction, if I'm not mistaken, correct? And that's why
Probably.
it had to be online.
Yeah, but you can, like I said, check out, it's an interactive map on the website.
All
And
right.
you-
On the website information,
Yeah,
first, or you have it?
I thought she had it, because we had so many meetings of the Croton Water Filtration Monitoring Committee. I thought you would know, that, like I said, it's going to certain
Road
areas.
Infiltration Monitoring Committee was for the construction and any projects associated with the Croton Filtration Plant.
Correct, correct, and it was saying where the water would go once the aqueduct, the Cat Delaware aqueduct was gonna be constructed, because you needed this water in order to do that construction.
Correct.
Okay, just wondering, I'll look on the line then, I just was hoping that this committee would know, and if Community Board 11 was getting any Croton water.
You
Since
check out the website and view it. I have not looked at it recently. I'm
Right.
not aware of any issues or anything like that.
The water is not the same quality water as the other two reservoirs. The Kensico Dam, which I believe is what this community board gets from, and the Cat Delaware system, which is the purest of the three reservoirs.
Okay.
Is there any way to know? I'm sorry. Is there any way to know, whether you have like a high water table or a low water table, or what is going on underneath your houses? Is that information that you can find through the DEP website?
If you're referring to like groundwater conditions,
Yeah.
is that what you're discussing? We would not have that information available. I'm not sure what the protocol is, for example, with the buildings department that would allow somebody to build in a location that may have groundwater conditions. You may want to check in with the buildings department as well. But there are many locations, here and there that have groundwater issues. I'm not sure which agency keeps track of them, who has what. You could start with the buildings department, and I'll ask in my agency as well and see if there's any information I can get additional on that.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Okay. Anyone else have any question? Wendy, do you have any question? Anyone online?
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you so much.
I did have a question.
Go right ahead.
I've been seeing, circulating on social media, I don't know if you guys have seen it, like a new garbage bin set up. I think there's like some kind of a pilot program in Manhattan where it's like big containers, on the curb, kind of maybe taking up, I don't know, maybe a couple of parking spots, which is supposed to be for garbage.
Malcolm got a comment, clean curbs.
Is that it, Malcolm?
That is it. I could explain it to you if you want. Why it's like that. So for example, in certain places they are implementing what is called city bins, which is the containerization program, which is supposed to help combat rats and rat infestations in certain communities. From what I know, DOT, for example, prefers to put them on the street, but it doesn't have to be that way. Sometimes they could put it on a sidewalk, but just because of the sheer size of them and they don't want to impact any pedestrian traffic, they do put it on the streets. Are you like interested in that kind of program? Like what's your
So no, I'm curious as to, you know, if it's a pilot program that's starting in Manhattan, whether it's something that, you know, we can kind of expect to see up this way. And then, like you said, you know, DOT may be involved and, you know, just kind of trying to get a sense of how that's going to affect us in the long run. And,
Right, yeah.
you know, yeah.
Yeah, so it is expanding. I know I personally, I just recently did a walk with Riley's office over in Wakefield, the Wakefield area to like look to see like what are some prospective spots. I did a walk over on the Jerome and Gun Hill side, for some prospective spots there, that I approved. Um, so it is the program itself is not expanding. The pilot is more like, specific entities are buying the bins now to use it. Um, so that's pretty much what it is. I think if you guys want to hear, it's maybe a good idea to reach out to the assemblyman or even the city council woman, to see, if we can possibly explore that here too.
Yes, Malcolm, because I have a meeting with them in a week. So I'm glad I heard this now because I got jealous tonight when I drove through this area and see the garbage bin compared to those in Allerton and different areas where it's like those bins that the mice can go through and eat the food versus those bins that you have to put the stuff in. I think it's something we need to get back. We're talking about mice and rat, but people throwing garbage all over the place because they have no place to throw them. I have to walk someplace so far to find a bin, and it's not everybody gonna do that. They just throw it on the ground. I know I heard Bernadette spoke about the filthy streets, and it is bad that we have to be talking about some places have and some we have elected officials. And if it's something that's going to help our community, we need to have these discussions. So
Yeah.
maybe,
Well,
maybe this
well,
is what we
it all starts local. It really takes us as the board to start looking at these things on our level and saying that we need this stuff here. So if we have prospective areas that we think is really filthy and that we want to clean it up, we should definitely take the initiative to reach out to elected officials and say, look, we know this program exists. We know these items, these resources exist. How can we bring it here and get it done? I think it really just starts with us, because if we don't make the noise, nobody else is going to do it.
Also, I have a question. So, I mean, I live up by the Gun Hill area. You mentioned Gun Hill have spots, so they think about putting these bins. Are the local businesses gonna be, involved with the, the cleaning up of the areas as well? Because I think what I see, at least up on Gun Hill area, a lot of the business areas, they use those garbage bins that are there, not the big ones like that we're mentioning here. But I mean, I know there's supposed to be some kind of service where they pay for their garbage to be taken up by the city in certain days. And I'm not sure if the bins are there, and they're going to avoid that cost and use these bins to have as their way of, disposing their garbage for their business. And it becomes even more garbage in the community. I'm just trying to find out, like, if the businesses are gonna be a part of this as well.
You're absolutely right. And like during my walk with Riley's office over in Gun Hill and White Plains Road, that was an issue that we saw. Because it's different from the bid that's over there, because I have a street cleaning team that I could just send over there to service the bins once they're in place. But for us, what we're thinking of doing now is actually reaching out to the business owners and exchanging and getting their buy-in for the program. So pretty much, maybe we'll say that, we'll put your logo on the bin as a form of advertisement. If you in exchange, if we create a program like a block captain program where the business owners work with the local residents to put the trash in there and those in those containerization bins, maybe like half of the bins would be for public use and half the bins would be commercial use. So I know that we did explore it that way, and I think it could work over on our side for White Plains Road. But part of that too is that the White Plains Road bid isn't really. They do have a working person, so that could work on that side if we wanted to. But it does take a little bit more creativity and activation of the local community itself there.
How Malcolm, I'm kind of 50-50 about that idea, because I really think that there should be a little more accountability with the business owners. I mean, putting your logos on bins and trying to get them, I mean, they're you know, the customers are patronizing their businesses, and here we are putting a logo on a bin to get them, you know, incentivize them to try to, I mean, they should really be held a little more accountable. I think just like how the community members, you know, are being held accountable, the business, you know, the residents, the homeowners, everyone's being held accountable for cleaning up the neighborhood. It's all everyone's job, and I really think that, you know, instead of trying to incentivize businesses to participate, they really should be held a little higher accountability as far as, I mean, the taxpayers, we all should be held at the same, I think, barometer as far as doing, you know, doing our part. I think that depending on how big these bins are, I really think it should be, we have like a really keen eye on the business owners that have, you know, a lot of them put, you know, like the restaurants, they have meat, they have garbage for days, and it just becomes something that people in the neighborhood are putting garbage in there. Homeowners are putting garbage in there, whatever. Some of them rent their property out, whatever. But it becomes even, you know, the bigger the bin, the more opportunity there is for more garbage to go in, and it gets even worse in the community.
Yes, that's true.
Smell, you know, you might even invite more rats, and it just becomes something that becomes overwhelming, but it doesn't really keep accountability on who's really using those bins properly.
Yeah, you're actually absolutely right.
To cut you, Malcolm, some of the businesses, they don't live in the community. They really don't care. Some of them don't live in the community. They just have a business in the community. So they really don't have the interest that you, who
Right.
lives there, have. So you have to make these people accountable. That's just
Oh.
like giving a kid that is spoiled the phone because they're screaming and giving a temper tantrum, you know, instead of saying, hey, you have to do the right thing, you give them something to do the right thing. I mean, I don't know.
I don't want to say I don't want to tackle it in the sense of they don't care, right? They do care, right? Because if the community isn't clean, then they don't get the patrons that they need to keep their businesses afloat. At the end of the day, their primary focus is keeping that business alive. I
Right.
think if we want to start, I think this committee can reach out to the elected officials, right? You can reach out to Councilwoman Marjorie Velasquez, Assemblyman John Zaccaro, or I think over in that 10469 area, that would be Riley. So you reach out to him because he is aware of these issues, and you sit down with them and you have a meeting and you say, look, these are the issues that are occurring in this specific area, and we want to figure out how can we solve them. From that meeting, then they can use their resources to connect, and the board can use our resources to connect and build the relationships with the business owners. We really have to lean towards relationship building and collaboration. I don't like to see us keep saying that we can't, because the more we say that we can't, we tell ourselves we won't do it. But we have to really create the relationships and be actively willing to do so.
So,
You know,
That's what I'm saying, not to cut you, but Malcolm, when I say they don't care, I say they don't care. I walk the streets too, I live in the streets, I work the streets, and you know that. And some of these businesses, they will tell you straight up, they don't live in the community.
opposed to that.
Okay, so when I say they don't care, if you're a business owner and you see garbage in front of your place, you're gonna come very alarmed, concerned, and you yourself might reach out. We have been stepping over garbage, walking over garbage. You sometimes wonder if these business owners are paying attention. You know, it really, you say you do the walkthrough, but sometimes I get very frustrated. And I'm not just talking about one particular area, but there's certain areas you go, you're not going to see certain things that you see in certain areas. So you really have to question what's going on, and you have to come to the table with that. So
yeah.
I'm in
Well, we
these
have
bins, and then the bins are open, the garbage is falling out of them. So the accountability, everybody has to be accountable for the things. We just can't blame one, whether it's elected officials or the business or what. We have to find out how we address these issues. They need to be addressed.
we
It's
have
ridiculous the way the streets
we have
are.
Malcolm, can I say something, Malcolm?
sure, Wendy.
So you know, I hear the conversation. So one thing that I would suggest when it comes to business owners, and like you said, Malcolm, just to kind of piggyback, is to maybe come up with an initiative for businesses. And number one, the businesses need to feel like at some point that the community board is an ally, right? And it's all about building relationships. The other thing that I would say is the root of it is the community, right? So if you have garbage on your floor, you have to ask yourself who put it there. So it's a community thing, it's a business owner thing, it's a community political thing. So you have to come together and work with your neighborhood political official on maybe, saying to a business owner, coming up with a incentive or some type of program that would incentivize a building, not a building owner, but a store owner to maybe go the extra mile. But then you also have to bring it back to the community. Not too very long ago, years ago, we had a curbing your pet issue, right? So I know in my area, we had a big issue on that. We don't have that issue so much anymore. But again, it's all about addressing it the right way.
I think that's what I just said. We all gotta, it's all of us. I just said the
Now,
same.
you said a bit about business
Community.
owners.
Yeah, but
You said
business
about
owners,
business
the
owners.
community,
I'm
the elected
saying
officials,
that as
everybody
well.
coming together. If the community don't know what's going on, but the business know, you still ain't solving the problem.
But the
April.
community know what's going on because they're evidently that's the one who is littering. So
Yeah.
again, you have to call it for what it is.
They're the one littering, but solving the problem and coming up with solution, they still gotta be part of it.
So
Yeah,
let's just make sure that we understand what it is that we're talking about. Apparently, these bins are like a way for I guess businesses and buildings to put the garbage inside these bins before sanitation picks it up. They look like they're locked, and they're not just the bags standing out there for the rats to crawl in, right? It's not like your everyday garbage that you throw out as you're walking down the street. Is that correct?
Correct.
I'm just
correct.
going by the picture that I looked
Yes,
up.
yes. There's a key and there's a lock or a keypad or something like that locks it. You're right.
Yeah, that's right. And who has the keys to that, by the way? The supers and owners, business owners?
Yes, yes. So then if we were to launch it as an initiative and we were to bring in business owners, the business owners would be the people to service it in that type way. They would have the keys and a lock.
Oh, okay.
And they'll be storing the garbage inside these like garbage lockers.
Okay.
Correct.
So Malcolm, they have the key and it's regular sanitation that picks them up like the regular sanitation that comes around and picks up sanitation garbage.
Correct.
Oh.
Yes. Sanitation will have the key to open it up themselves and remove the trash and then resets the next day, the next time for pickup.
I don't know why they had removed garbage bins in the first place because since they remove it, it's become worse.
So this is not in lieu of the regular garbage receptacles that are gonna be on the street, right? This is just in addition?
Okay, can you repeat that question? I didn't hear you. Say it again.
Yeah, Malcolm, I'm just trying to think, so these are not in lieu of the regular garbage receptacles that are gonna be on the corner of like in the streets, right? They're gonna be in addition to the regular garbage receptacles?
Yeah, right. So it depends on how you want to use it. So, for example, the way I'm using it is for street trash. So my team will go out, they'll empty out the trash in the regular public bins, and then they'll put it in a bag and store it in those containerization bins. So it's not sitting on the street. Or it could be used, in lieu with the commercial owners to also store it there too. So it depends on how we decide to define it.
Okay. So you're saying, Malcolm, they're not gonna put them on the sidewalk, they're gonna be more like
In the street.
in the street.
What the bins itself? Well, it depends. You
Yeah.
could if so from what I noticed, if the street cannot handle it, or if we say no, this won't work in this community, they will put it on a sidewalk, or they'll find a place on the sidewalk where it could be sat at, or you could put it in the street if you choose to do so too.
Okay, so it's based on the location and how the street is.
Correct. Yes. Yes. They usually send somebody to walk it, and and somebody from your committee will walk it with them, and along with whoever's paying for it, to figure out what are the best locations.
And one more question, I'm sorry, I have a lot of questions. So how, like, what's the distance between each of these bins? Like, if there's one on Gun Hill and Fenton, is there gonna be another one on Gun Hill and like, you know, like mile away, 2, 3 miles, we're gonna see these all along the strip?
Yeah, that's a good question. How, like, every two
How far
blocks, every
apart?
3 blocks?
It depends. Yeah, it could usually be one every 2 blocks, one every 3 blocks. It really just depends on the space, and
Okay.
and but I think that it will most likely depend on who we get to partner with us on this. Um, so if a so it depends on the business owners that we have connections with and who we get buy-in. We would preferably, we'll want to put a bin near them, for example.
Well, Malcolm, the way they have the streets now, and the way the streets are cut up and torn apart now, is like, do you have space to put these things? Because
Yeah,
we don't even have space to park.
you'll be surprised. There is a lot of dead space, I would say, in our
Ah.
communities, that is just not used, right? So, for example, I know Cynthia and I over on Bronxdale and Neal Avenue, right? There is, if you look at it from an aerial view, there is a possibility for a plaza, for a plaza to be created there for sitting and for stuff like that. So you'd be surprised at how much dead space is sitting in our community that is just not being utilized properly.
Okay.
Okay.
I also think about safety for the elderly and making sure things are like, people aren't gonna be cluttered and tripping all over. People have all these city bikes, kids walking, people with wheelchairs. There's a lot of, like foot traffic in some areas, and you're putting all these extra things there. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just think about the big picture and who's gonna be in the community and need to
Right.
get, be accessible to get around for safety purposes.
100%. Like I know over on Allerton Avenue, by the 2 train line, there's a lot of the trash clutters up on the curb, and it makes it hard for people to easily get on the sidewalk or exit the sidewalk when they need to. So those are definitely issues that I believe is reoccurring throughout the community. So it depends where you put them. They could be a very very good help.
Yeah, especially under the train line there in Arlington, where you have these people selling their fruits and vegetables and all these stuff. They need the garbage bins. It's really filthy.
Right, precisely.
Oh, okay. I think this was a mouthful tonight, and I really appreciate it because that's our concern. Everybody concerned is the mice, the rat, the garbage on the street, and so it's a start. And we thank you. And before we say we wrap it up, Robert, first we open you to have okay, good. If no one else have anything else to say, then I think we have all.
It's
Someone says-
actually, I just wanted to say, I added in the chat the water distribution page while we were on. I went and checked it out, Bob. That this is for your question. Excuse me. So the water distribution map, you could check it. It states the current water distribution for the entire city of New York. It's now from Catskill, Delaware. That's the source. That's all I wanted to say. And I attached the link in the chat. Mhm.
Okay, thank you. And maybe we'll have Jeremy send it out
Yeah.
to everyone. Yes, we'll have Jeremy to forward it out to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Malcolm, thank you so much for your information. Maybe I'll go walk with you the next time I see you. I'm not gonna hide from you next time you're with the councilman. I'm gonna start walking behind you.
Yeah,
Okay, so-
I would recommend sending a letter out to them and starting just getting their thoughts on the issue. To be honest,
Thank you so much.
no problem.
Okay, so I guess we'll move on to old business. Is there any old business?
New business.
That's old, no, that's new business we just had, so
There's no old business.
there's no old business. We're gonna, I think Junior is ready to leave, and so if no one else have anything else to say, I think we could call it a night.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, meeting adjourned at 8:12 p.m.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
thank you,
It's
thank you.
8:12.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. You're at the same.
It's all in the same room.
No, I don't think it's.
Yeah.
Sheet with all.
Maybe you want to
No,
make
that
a-
leaves me, hold on.
I think you can different exit the bottom.
Is
Are you
it?
trying to exit?
Yeah.
Yeah, so leave me.
Well, I'm trying to stop the recording, because if I exit, it'll just be blank.
No,
Let me-
Yeah. You sure Jeremy and do it?
Yeah,